Hey, what's up you guys? I'm back with another challenge, and this time I'll be attempting to beat the game using the Beast Claw weapons which are found in the DLC. If this is your first video, hi, I'm Neil, and you can watch me stream Elden Ring challenges like this one live on Twitch, link in the description down below. If you have any suggestions of what challenges I should try out, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. At the beginning of this challenge run, I gave myself the Beast Claws to fight Mohg and Radahn. Going into the DLC, I found out that the weapons are locked behind a dude and I need to kill him to get them. Grabbing the skeletal finger, I get sent to the Realm of Shadows. Touching this grace at the graveside plains marks the start of the journey. Going into a fight with Wolverine, I claw him to death with several slashes, dropping my first official Beast Claw. So now, I have one for each hand. Time to set up the Beast Claws, using the Savage Claws Ash of War, one with the Cold Infusion and the other with the Fire Infusion. This build idea came from our Gaming, link in the description down below. Running around in the darkness of Mohg's mausoleum, grabbing the Lord's rune and getting ambushed. So I run around outside, avoiding the shambling corpses, grabbing some golden runes, and sneaking past the dino doggies. I wait for the invaders to spawn in, but they don't. Apparently killing Mohg locked me out of this, so I gave myself the mask that they would have dropped. This mask increases attack power by 10% for 20 seconds when bleed occurs in the vicinity. It also looks creepy as heck, so that's an intimidation bonus. Heading back to Renala to respec, since the infusions of my weapons switched my AR around a bit. I increased my vigor, endurance, dex and strength. Then it's time for some running around to collect some Skadudu fragments. Some parkour into the Church of Benediction to grab the blessed blue dew tally for that passive FP regen. Back to the graveside plane, giving this door a mighty shove with my twig arms. I come face to face with this abomination, the spider scorpion. Giving it a few solid slashes, it stabs me with both pincers, stun locking me, trying to roll out of range, but it follows me, piercing me one final time. Running in again, this time slashing it into a stun lock, killing it in seconds. Grabbing the Shadow Realm rune from the back of the room, avoiding the scorpion babies falling from the ceiling, trying to dodge the jump scare scorpions, but it hits me anyways, so I run past it. Climbing up this ladder, going down this lift to open the shortcut, then back up. I get pecked to within an inch of my life by the birds, but with a few slashes they go down. Unlike this guard, who I try to slash to get past, but he stomps on me and swings his sword at my head and I fall. Running at him again, I slash at him with both claws, trying to roll away from his attacks, getting a frost proc, and then his friend comes to back him up. Moving back, letting them come to me, and as he shifts towards me I swoop in. Getting my claws in, he tries to kick me off, but it's too late for him. Then I turn to face his friend and he slashes me with his sword. On the brink of death, I back off, then run at him, and with a few more slashes they are reunited. Shoving this door open, I come face to face with the first boss of the run. The Beast Claws are very short range melee weapons, so if I want to do any damage, I have to stay right below him and tank his aggressive dance moves, slashing at him as much as I can, backing away when his hits land on me and letting him pounce at me, giving me windows to attack. Getting struck by lightning a couple of times, then he whirls some wind at me and I get blown away. All in all, not bad for my first run at him, deciding that it's best to practice my dance moves some more before facing him in battle again. So I head down this cliff, breaking the Spirit Spring seal and hopping up into Fourth Reprimand. Then I realize that I don't actually need anything from inside, so I go for a quick escape, falling to my death. Running around, finding a better ledge to jump off of, still takes a bit of health, but at least I'm alive. Sprinting past the Ghost Flame Dragon into Mort Runes to pick up some more Skadudu fragments. Sprinting up into the Church of Crusade, getting invaded by the Fire Knight. I slash at him, he throws a fireball at me, then I jump on him, ripping him apart, receiving the Crusade insignia as a reward. This is never used. Hopping down into this pond where the Great Red Bear lies, trying my best to get below him, but he keeps jumping around, throwing rocks at me and slashing me with its paws. Getting up close again and slashing at him. He stands on his hind legs and gives me a mighty roar. Not letting that scare me off, I run at him again, but he backs up, then he pounces at me, digging his claws in till I dissipate. Returning to Shadowkeep, it's time to try the Golden Hippo fight instead. It charges at me with its mouth wide open and uses its head to squish me like a bug, but I get back up, swinging at it as it backs me up into a wall, and then it's time for phase 2. And as it spawns its spikes, I get impaled immediately. Switching up my tallies and heading back in, playing more aggressively, I go in with big slashes, and it's taking quite a bit of damage. Leaping at it, staying close to get more hits in, getting squashed below its head a couple of times, but I keep attacking. Phase 2, and I sprint away from its spikes. Its squish attacks still seem to be hitting me, but I get a frost proc in, I get rolled on and headbutted. I go in for an attack, and it turns my body into Swiss cheese with its spikes. Sitting at the grace, I switch my keen beast claw to poison. Third round, sticking to its belly and hind legs, viciously slashing. The porcupine spikes come out, and I keep switching between dodging and slashing, trying to use the building as cover, but its spikes still follow me behind it. His wrestling body slam skills are quite annoying, and I can never seem to dodge them. No flasks left. I am hanging on by a thread as it rolls at me. I dodge, and then it impales me once again. Fourth time around, I'm not wasting a single second. I go in, slashing with both my claws, getting to phase 2 in seconds. It rolls at me, and I tank the hit, getting back on my feet, charging at it, fighting back. No more healing flask remaining. I decide I might as well go all out, staying right below it and clawing at it. Then it finally turns to dust. Switching the poison beast claw back to fire and respecking at Renala. Returning to Shadowkeep, getting impaled by an arrow all the way off of a cliff, and they follow me down, trying to run past them to collect the golden vow, but getting a mace to the face. Pushing open this door, sliding down a few ladders, rolling into a secret wall, and hopping into a coffin, emerging in Skadu Altus. I get caught in a fire cyclone, so I run the other way, into the ruins of Unity to ignore Fireboy, sprinting down past some moth people, and entering the Eastern Nameless Mausoleum, where I run down the stairs to face Rashaka. Her katana slices me with its long range, and I need to be super up close to land any hits, making this fight all the more challenging. Leaping at her, trying to get a few hits in, then leaping back as she begins her weed whacking. With only a quarter of her health gone, I'm diced to bits. Going in again, it turns into a circling spar. Her katana can slice me from afar, but I stay just out of reach. I leap in for a few attacks, and as I leap back, her katana slices me in half. Pause. Since she's immune to fire damage, I have to switch up my damage, so I change both my claws to bleed. Her katana seems to slice through time itself, as it swings faster than I can dodge. I get a few solid scratches on her before being sliced to bits once again. Another attempt, and she is finally taking the hits, stun locking her for a few seconds with major double slashes. So as I'm running around her, I attempt to switch the missile into Prosthesis tally with the blessed blue dew tally, and getting punished for that, rolling out of the way, trying to close the gap between us at the worst possible time. But then another leap and another chunk of her health evaporates. Sadly, she heals. Forgot she could do that. I'm pretty confident in my strategy of leap attacks. Progress is slow but steady up until I get slashed. Now I know the strategy. The Ash of War is amazing, but it uses a lot of FP, and I'm only able to do around 6 attacks before my FP runs out, so I need to time them perfectly. Here's an example of the opposite of that. Okay. That was terrible. Let's try that again. I back up, letting her slash at the air, her katana making it sound like I'm about to sit for a movie. I take my time, waiting for her to do her weed cutter attacks or her floor slash, so I can land some hits, and then quickly jump out of her reach. It's a slow fight, but it seems to be doing the trick, and when I go in for an eager attack, I get punished for it, so I hold back. Playing it safer than safe, waiting for my FP to regen, we both heal, down to 1 flask. I stop her from healing, cause if I can't heal, then she can't either. I go in for another slash, but she gets to it first. Fourth attempt, I am locked in, dodging all her attacks and landing a few good slashes, a quarter of her health gone before she lands a hit on me. Every attack she does that I can punish, I go for, both healing simultaneously once again, jumping at her and slashing, rolling back and running around out of her reach. She's at half health and we're both dancing around each other, backing up to heal, getting slashed, backing up to heal, getting impaled. That one was on me, bad timing, and 2 wasted flasks. She tries to heal again and I interrupt her. The fight was going on for so long that my physic boost ran out. I was totally on my own, running away then leaping, breaking all candelabras in the vicinity, going in for one more slash as she's running at me, and she collapses, rewarding me with her armor and weapon. Equipping her armor, I look sick as hell, but it puts me up to medium load, but I stick with it for that extra damage. Switching my primary claw back to cold damage, testing them out on this troll at the entrance of Castle Ensis, quickly getting a frost frost in and sticking to what I do best. A couple of slashes at the Achilles, the troll comes tumbling down. Time to face Rilana. Running as she flings her magical daggers, then leaping at her. Getting a frost in, my damage isn't the best, but it's definitely doing something. Waiting back till the frost resets, she summons her sovereignty, I dodge, slashing her into yet another frost. She's down to almost half health. What I really want is a poison proc. Slashing her into phase 2, mistiming a dodge, jumping over her moon drops, going in for an attack, but getting caught between her blades. That was almost a first attempt fight, but I got too eager. Slow and steady is much better, since it also allows my FP to regen, so that's how I need to play this. Finally realizing that using the Savage Claw means that I'm not attacking with both claws, I try my best to just use the double hand attack to try get some poison damage. Slashing at her and get a quick frost in, but I'm playing the second attempt too aggressively, and I keep getting punished for it. Another frost in, and she goes into phase 2, but I still haven't gotten a poison proc yet, which is frustrating, but I keep trying. No flasks left. I try running away from her daggers, but they still manage to track me down. My third attempt starts off the wrong foot, since I miss all my dodges. By using the poison claw as my primary, I finally get that poison proc. Switching to the cold claw and also getting a frost in, dodging the giant sword, then going in for some slashes. Time for phase 2, and I come to the realization that poison damage was not worth it all along, since the damage I do is too little. So that run was unsuccessful. Switching my poison beast claws back to fire, I go back to her sister for another respec. Back to Rilana, damage negation was definitely increased. I get a frost proc, a fire slash, and the slashes are doing their job of depleting her health. Another fire slash, and we're trading blows, but I keep slashing her till she starts switching to phase 2, getting a bleed in right as she ignites her weapons. Hopping over the moon drops, getting stabbed by her swords, she jumps back, then jumps at me again, and with a final slash, Rilana disintegrates, morphing into a remembrance. Running across some rooftops in the church district, falling into this beam, jumping onto this ledge, down into the building, freezing Flame Boy, and grabbing the Skadoodle fragment from this statue. Opening up the floodgates, hopping down, and peeping on this crab that was just eating and minding its own business. Teleporting back to Shadowkeep, running past another Flame Boy, and getting a flame slash to the back for ignoring him. Back to the church district, and somehow I get an Iris of the Occultation. Taking the lift down, I run into another Flame Boy, and this time deciding to fight him since I need to get past him. Slashing at him, getting a frost proc, and managing to stun lock him with my attacks. Rolling away to heal, then slashing at him some more, and he goes down. Running ahead, up the stairs, pushing this door open, another lift. I look like something right out of a nightmare. Stop looking at me! Running across this bridge, grabbing the Iris of Grace, grabbing Marika's rune, and walking up to the sunflower. Staying by the main stalk, I'm able to do quite a bit of damage as I hack and slash at it. Almost down to half its phase 1 health, it summons thorns from the depths below, and I'm pricked to death. Going back in, I claw at it, bracing through the pain of getting thorns pierced through me over and over again, and when it swings its head down low, I claw at it as it tries to slam at me. Rolling back to its base, giving a couple more slashes, getting a snagger in, and stabbing it into phase 2, further reducing its next health bar. I dodge as it charges at me, leaping at its head, slashing at it, rolling away from its slam, and slashing some more. Slashing at its base, narrowly dodging a slam, it swings away, sending waves of thorns at me. Charging at it, slashing at the head as soon as it's low enough, it goes down with another stagger, and I stab it once more into phase 3. It emerges right below me, and I panic, trying to run in any direction to avoid it. Getting beamed by its beam, charging at it, but I was too far. It gets back up, swinging wildly on its roots, and I start slashing at the head. Rolling away as it charges at me again, getting pricked by the wave, then I roll towards it to attack the roots. It fires its beam again, but I stick close, and roll. It gets up once more, trying to fire its beams. I choose that time to drink a flask? With 2 final slashes, the legend is felled, rewarding me with his remembrance. Emoting to the statue, it slides to the side, opening the doorway to the secret area. Running out into the fields to face Commander Stabby Stomps, He charges at me and I roll out of the way, but his foot stomps on my head and he body slams into me. I take a couple of slashes at him, then dodge his stomps and stabs, or at least most of them. Going back to slashing, I get a frost proc. His head slamming was almost the death of me, but I get back on my feet and I roll away. He stays close, trying to slash at me with the gravity sword, which gives me time to slash at him. Getting a double kick to the face, he runs off, dodging his charge attacks, but the stompies land. Another frost proc and he's at half health. He plunges into the ground and I'm on him like flies on poop. At a quarter of his health, I jump in for another slash, but he lives up to his nickname and with a stab and a stomp, he ended that well fought battle. Switching my fire beast claw to bleed and then heading back in. This boss is such a headache to fight, simply because his stomping is so tedious, and he kept killing me again and again. Switching out the bleed claw to poison to test out the damage difference. Frustrating does not begin to describe this fight, but I kept charging at him, poisoning him, healing, getting stomped on, and healing again, wasting my flasks. A frost proc, and I'm slashing wildly, and he plunges into the ground. I get another frost in, and I can taste the victory as I dice him to pieces, receiving the remembrance of the wild boar rider. Yay! At least for now, the torture is over. Running into the Skadudu Chalice, collecting all the Skadudu fragments. Heading to Mort Ruins to face the red bear once again. Getting jumped by a different bear who roars in my ear. Getting a quick frost proc in, it's joined by another one, slashing them both to a swift and cold death. Then the red bear jumps at me. Oh! Okay. Scaring the bejesus out of me. I guess he wants a piece of me too. Getting a frost proc in, then he yanks me in for a hug. He roars at me, but I kept clawing at him. Another roar, 2 more slashes to the butt, and the bear goes down with a frost proc death, gifting me with its pelt. Darn, not what I wanted. Going down this lift, I run into the battle with a hippo, slashing at him till I get a frost proc. It grabs me in its mouth, spitting me out. Rolling, I swipe at it till it turns to dust, getting another Skadudu fragment. Running into the northern nameless mausoleum, it's time to face the red bear. It's close on close, taking him down to half health swiftly as he gives a loud roar, and I'm floored. He tries to heal, I slash. He tries to claw at me, and I retaliate, even getting a bleed in. Roaring at me once again, I hang back, and he's running at me. I slash him down, dropping the red bear claws. Here we go. So let's compare claws. Red bear claws has a native bleed, and it's higher than normal, so it looks decent. Heading to round table to compare it, switching my cold beast claws to quality. Heading to the ancient runes of Rao, I do some damage testing. The quality beast claws did about 931 damage, switching it out with the red beast claw, which did a whopping 1200 damage per hit. Switching my fire claw to cold, I do a dual wield test. I was one hitting all the spirits, and this is the way to go. Heading off to the Screaming Egon and running off to face the ancient Dragon Man invader. 2 slashes and he's at a quarter of his health. His dragon head chomps at me, I heal and give one last mighty slash, and the ancient Dragon Man becomes the ancient dead man. Running down into the dragon's pit to open a path for later, missing a jump and falling to my death. Let's try that again. Well then, guess I'll just take the long way around. Running past some skeletons into a dead end and getting a bit lost. This is why we do jumpy jumps. At least I found it, taking a plunge into the depths below, entering into the battle with the actual ancient dragon man. He kept slashing at me, but my claws were just depleting his health. Half his health, I get a bleed, and with a couple more slashes, he falls to his knees, pushing open the door he was guarding, running across this bridge to touch the grace. Time to enter the Cerulean coast, where I jump down into this cave and enter the stone coffin fissure, dodging some lasers, smashing stones, and dodging and slashing at some birds, making my way to the other side. Playing tag with the skeleton, he's right on my tail, till he sees the ghost. Getting pounced on, stumbling to the edge, and another slash shoves me off, plunging to my death, where he follows me down. At least I don't have to do that again. Stumbling upon this collection of sleeping animals? Yeah, sure, let's go with that. Now it turns out the putrescent knight is immune to bleed, and resistant to slashing damage, so this should be fun. Jumping off this statue, I enter into a world of pain. Getting some minor damage in, missing a couple of dodges and a couple of hits, but steadily bringing him down more and more. Second phase has me jumping over his ghost flames, my attack timing is slightly off, and apparently so is my dodging. As he rolls over me and I crumble, I dive back in, this time using one-handed attacks, trying to not get caught in animation of dual wielding. This does do less damage, but it does make me quicker, which allows me to dodge way faster. I miss time jumping over the ghost flames and getting cleaved to death once more. Unequip the cold beast glow, this time getting him all the way down to a quarter of his health before his ghost flame burns through me. I have his timings down and I dodge and slash as he rolls at me over and over again. Jumping over his ghost flames and charging at him with my claw, he goes down, rewarding me with the remembrance of the putrescence. Heading to the Cathedral of Manus, shoving this gate open and having a chat with the Emir, getting the whole Elden necklace. So I run into the finger ruins of Deo, blowing into this finger, then heading to the ruins of Rhea, where I blow into this one, and then returning to Count Emir, resting at the grace, and then he's gone from his throne, pushing a button on the throne, then sliding down the revealed ladder, swiftly clawing Anna to pieces and blowing the final finger. Time for Mother Dearest. Luckily, she's more prone to bleeding, so my slashes do a quick job of getting her down to half health. Phase 2, and I get a laser to the face. I get stomped on, going in to slash at her as she bursts fingers, and then tries to slam herself on me, going in for more greedy slashes as she slams her hands before her, and I get flattened, blowing into the finger again, dodging a laser show and some finger taps. As I slash, the red bear hunt bleeding her down to half health, running away from her orbs, then charging at her for more slashes. I get tippy tapped and slammed on, backing up to heal, going right below her and slashing her till she's at a quarter of her health. I get a laser to the face again, but as she tippy taps her way to me, I slash her to nothing, receiving yet another remembrance. Switching the cold beast claw as my weapon and the red hunt as my secondary, going up this lift and heading in to deal with another creepy crawly. She whips her tail at me and jabs me with it, but my Ash of War is rinsing through her. Her pincers come an inch away from me and I get Scarlet Rot, but still I slash. She rolls away and I charge back in, claws out, face transition, and I go back to slashing. With her swift movements, sometimes the camera goes all wonky and doesn't track super well as I roll away, but all it takes is a couple more slashes and Romina is exterminated. Another remembrance in my pocket. Time for Twinkle Toes, and since he is weak to bleed, I switch back to good old red bear claws as my primary weapon. The damage is insane. With a few slashes, he's a quarter down and he summons his lightning, dodging most of his hits, and I tank the ones that I land. Then it's time for the cold, and with some bleed slashes, he has a quarter of his health left. I miss a couple of swings, getting pounced on instead. I heal and give it 2 more slashes, and the beast is dead? What the heck is going on? Okay, there we go. Another remembrance for me to carry. Some running around, up the stairs, onto some feet, across this statue, leading me to this door. I push it open.
Shall all meet death.
I land a few slashes on him, then he impales me with spears summoned from below. A couple of air slashes, damn, too far. His flame attacks burn through me, rinsing through my health, but I have flasks to help with that. 2 more slashes and it's time for phase 2. His snake head flops down on me as I fail a roll and he impales me from below again. He rushes at me, I get 2 good slashes and he's almost down. Then his snake head clamps down on me, ending that beautiful run, charging at him, rolling away from his attack and piercing him with my claws. The red bear claw is depleting his health, but I can't seem to dodge the impaling spears. He also manages to impale me on the end of the spear, lifting me into the air and barbecuing me. Getting back on my feet, 2 clean slashes and it's serpent time. 2 immediate slashes right as he's face changing, rolling away from the chomping mouths, and 1 lands perfectly next to me. 2 slashes and the serpent monster becomes dust. Another remembrance for my collection. Speaking to Hornset, then heading to speak to Lida to get her to kill him rather than having to deal with him myself. Traveling to Shadowkeep, Hornset isn't by the boat, so I guess I'll have to take care of him myself. Fun. So instead, I travel to Mort Runes, emoting a dry leaf to challenge him. With 3 slashes, he's already almost dead. Then he starts fighting back, backing away to heal, and slashing at him as he charges at me. Dry leaf meets his end. Back to Skadu Oculus, jumping down some ledges, time to deal with the hippo population. First one takes a couple of chomps at me, and he tries to stomp on my head, but with a couple of slashes, he goes down. Second one is right ahead, running at it as it charges at me, and we both miss each other. It stomps and pounces on me, but all it takes is a few slashes for it to reunite with its friend, giving me some more Skadudu fragments. Jumping down a few more ledges, pushing open this door into the dark light catacombs. Time to run around in pitch black darkness, getting fireballed in the face a few times. Going down this lift, some more darkness, another lift, let there be light, some stairs, and I'm at the doorway. Time for the Inquisitor to face my wrath, charging at him and slashing him twice. He teleports firing magic beams at me. Charging at him again, slashing at the air. There we go, those landed. Phase 2, and his summon pounces on me. Then some running around to avoid the magic, 3 slashes, and a teleport. I'm out of flasks, which isn't too good, but with a mighty slash, he goes down. Sneaking around in the abyssal woods, then I get spotted by 2 untouchables, and though I try my best to sprint away, they are relentless and chase me to death. Taking my time, I successfully sneak past them on my second try, shoving this door open to enter Midra's Mancy, rolling into this painting, traversing through the maze of bookshelves, getting cornered near the lever, but managing to escape, making it to the ladder mostly intact. Going up another ladder, running on the precarious ledges, jumping down here, rolling into this other painting, and up this ladder, pulling this lever, doing some parkour, and it's time to face Midra. Three slashes sends the madman screaming, but as he's falling he grabs at me, so I end up taking some damage, having to waste a flask, getting burned by some flames, getting some slashes in, then getting a dagger to the face. His sword has a long reach, but after his swings I rush in and slash him into phase 2, avoiding the raining fire, then charging at him and slashing, running back to avoid the flames, getting struck by badness, healing, and mid-animation I get skewered, getting caught by his flames again, madness, and then a full beam to the face turns me to ash. It takes a couple more attempts. On the 4th run, I managed to kill little Midra without getting a scratch on me. Then he shifts into the flames. Playing aggressively, sticking close and slicing at him, tanking the damage, he explodes into a ball of flames, and I flee. He teleports to me, and I attack, dodging his madness sword. The madness drops me to my knees, but I'm not going down without a fight. I heal, getting struck by madness again, and wasting another flask. As he swings towards me, I get a few more attacks in, then he impales me again. With my flesh singed, I charge at him and swing till he finally collapses. One remembrance closer to completing this challenge. Now there are only 2 bosses left, Bale and Radon. I head towards Jagged Peak and traverse my way to Bale's arena. Running in as he descends before me. His flame attacks were causing some damage, but I tanked it as I stayed below him and attacked his feet. He flies up, landing behind me and charging at me with his wings, trying to hack at them, but they're just out of reach. He's so hard to lock onto with this close range of a weapon. Thinking that the best tactic would be to tank the damage and attack whilst he's attacking, I stick close, getting caught in his mouth and below him in his thunder, bringing that attempt to an end. On my second attempt, I get him to phase 2 and down to a quarter of his health, but with no healing flasks left. A fire strike and a lunge ends me, switching my Rotten Wings sword insignia to my Crimson Sea tally for that boost in healing. Another 10 attempts, I pause the torture, traveling to the ancient ruins of Rao, burning the tree, and running up to Inner Limb. The enemies in this area are a pain after all that masochism. Then it's time for the Sand Pit of Doom, listening to Lida yap on, then finally entering the battle. Hornset is up first, and I slash at him till he's barely hanging on, before he attacks me with his swords, and I have to retreat. Dryleaf comes out to play. I thought that challenging him before meant that I wouldn't have to fight him now. Guess not. And I'm almost one-shotted by his magic, and I drop. Going back in, this time dealing with Hornset immediately, killing him with a few slashes. 1 down, 2 to go. Dryleaf charges at me, I attack, leaping back and letting him come to me. I slice him to bits. Lida runs at me, and her sword is as swift as it is painful, but I get my own hits in, getting her to half health, but she heals. I slash at her, and she's hanging by a thread. Her holy spears almost end me a couple of times, and I keep backing up to heal as she chases me and stabs me with her sword. Rolling towards her, I give her one last slash, and she turns to dust. Up this lift, up the stairs, and mentally preparing myself for agony, switching my Crimson Sea tier with the Millicent's Prosthesis and charging in to face my penultimate obstacle. He slams down in front of me and I begin attacking. He swings his sword and I retreat. So far so good, another slam and I get in a few more hits. Charging at him to attack, not realizing that my stamina was already depleted. He stomps at me and I slash him, getting him down to phase 2. Dodging and running at him, getting some damage in, then he slashes at me and I get caught by his light beams. Overall, that was great for the first attempt with this build. Going to Renala to respect my character. Going in again to test my new stats. Damage wise, I'm doing okay. Tanking the hits, not so much. Alright, pause. Time to collect some more Skadoo fragments. Time to get back to testing it out. Yes, boyo! Look at that damage. Slashing him into phase 2, where the real challenge begins. I managed to get a total of 1 hit in before his attacks get to me. Switching to my cold beast claw, the damage is not the best, but I managed to get the frost proc before his stalagmites skewer me. Switching my beast claws to bleed, equipping the crimson sea tally, and heading back in. With this current build, I'll be getting around 100 bleed per hit, so the damage should be there. My slashes were definitely having an impact, and when I got a bleed, the health depletion was insane. It was just a matter of memorizing his moveset, getting him down to phase 2, tanking the first hit to stick close, but not tanking his sword swipes. Not giving up, I kept going in. The damage was enough, it was just a matter of dodging and playing it safe. Easier said than done, even getting grabbed a couple of times. Switching to the good old red bear claw. Yeah, the damage with this seems more significant. His range is frustrating, I roll where it should be far enough, but somehow the tip of his sword must nick me or something. Relentlessly slashing him into phase 2, which goes significantly better, but still not fully there yet. Sticking with red bear, I go at him again and again. Switching my physic for a boost in poise, definitely better. Look at that damage. Okay, bad dodge, bad dodge. Even phase 2 was going well, till I backed up into his beams. I was getting there though, I could taste the victory. Switching my helmet to the Rashaka helm, boosting my overall damage by 2%. The damage increase is nice and the mask is significantly less creepy. Double bonus. Phase 2 was going great too. I was getting major hits in, but his light beams always seemed to find me. Pausing to travel to the shaman village to pick up the golden braid. This tally reduces holy damage taken by 22%, meaning those damn beams shouldn't kill me now, but his swords still do. I was finally locked in, getting closer and closer each attempt. He ended that round with a kick to the face, just as I ran out of FP.
3 weeks later.
Getting him into phase 2, rolling away from all his savagery, and slashing. At this point, his moves were seared into my brain. Almost dead, backing up to heal, rolling then slashing. He shot up into the sky. I sprinted off, rolling through his descent, slashing ferociously at his ankles. Finally, the god is slain. Dance party to celebrate that victory. Traveling back to the jagged peaks to deal with the final obstacle. Switching the golden braid to the blessed blue dew dally, I enter the fog's dale. Slashing, getting flamed in the face, but when he stomps, I slash. I get caught by the fire way too often since I have to stick close. But that's the best way for me to get my hits in. He starts charging up his lightning and I roll frantically, getting out at the last second. He flies up, raining fire, and he stomps back down, where I continue slashing at his feet, almost getting hit by his lightning yet again, getting stuck below him, but I kept slashing. He's almost dead. He flies up, creating an inferno, then slams down, and I slash. He zooms off, and I tank his flames again. Finally, he pounces, and all it takes is 3 more slashes for Bale the Dread to become Bale the Dead. So there you have it. That is how I beat the DLC using the Beast Claws. These weapons were super fun to play with. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video, leave a like, and consider subscribing to the channel, it will mean a lot to me. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comment section down below. You can catch me live on Twitch, link in the description. I'll see you all in the next one. Toodles. YouTube's recommending this video now, so be sure to check that out. And click here to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the uploads.